WESN.
Here is the WSN News on the Hour. I'm Sean Michael Small. Thanks for joining us. Here are the headlines. Tutor says Moruga secondary teacher not suspended. Moruga students in viral video attack suspended. Marabella fisherman killed under house. And internationally, Supreme Court gives boost to Trump's administration's deportation plans under Alien Enemies Act. Now for the details. Contrary to social media reports, the male Moruga secondary school teacher seen defending a female student during an attack by schoolmates in a viral video has not been suspended. TNT Unified Teachers Association President Martin Lumpkin dispelled the rumor, saying his last update from school staff on the evening of April the 6th said the teacher has not been reprimanded. In the viral video, 3 female students were seen attacking another female student, kicking, punching, and slapping her on the floor and using common items in the classroom as weapons. The male teacher used a blue broom handle to shield the female student from her attackers, who threw a bin at him and even tried hitting him as well. The teacher has since been hailed as a hero on social media. While Mr. Lumpkin commended the teacher, the tutor president warned teachers from intervening in similar incidents, especially male staffers in instances where the students are female. 2 of the Moruga secondary school students seen in the viral video attacking the other students while being shielded by the teacher have been suspended. This was confirmed by the president of the TNT Unified Association yesterday. The video footage of the violent attack that was posted to social media has gained over 42,000 views. Assistant Commissioner of Police for Central and South Divisions, Wayne Meister, confirmed that parties involved were questioned by police on April the 7th. He said charges are to be laid soon. Meister reported that proactive measures to prevent school violence had been implemented, such as community policing, threat assessment teams to collaborate with school officials to identify potential threats, and policy development aimed at preventing violence, including clear consequences for violent behavior. However, he admitted it is a work in progress. A Marabella man is now dead after gunmen opened fire on him on Sunday night while he was liming at the home of a neighbor. Police said 37-year-old Rennie Shampoo Babwa, a fisherman of Batu Boulevard, was under the home of another resident along the train line at East Bayshore around 7:05 p.m. when he was shot multiple times. The homeowner told police he was inside when he heard a volley of gunshots. Shortly after, he saw Babwa's body on the ground under his house. Investigators retrieved 32 spent 9mm casings. The shooting was the second murder in Marabella within 2 days. Kerban Ban James, 48, a welder from West Bayshore, Marabella, was fatally shot by 3 masked men around 11 p.m. on Friday near Minimart in his neighborhood. James had earlier been involved in an altercation with another resident. Investigators found 15 spelt 9mm shells, a pistol magazine loaded with 14 rounds of ammunition, and 2 more rounds of ammunition at that scene. Officers of the Homicide Bureau Region 3 are investigating. Internationally, the Supreme Court on Monday threw out a judge's decision to block the removal of men alleged to be members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua to El Salvador without any legal process under the Alien Enemies Act. The ruling, in which the justices were divided 5-4, means the Trump administration can try to resume deportations under the rarely used wartime law, so long as detainees are given due process. The detainees must be given time to challenge their detention via a habeas corpus claim and be able to challenge whether the act is being lawfully applied. Well, that's News on the Hour on WESN. I'm Sean Michael Small. Thanks for watching.
WESN.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
The Caribbean has some of the highest rates of overweight and obesity in the Americas.
Parents are usually meticulous about what goes into their children's mouths from 0 to 1 year. But then something happens after 1 year when we say to them, eat from the family pot.
Right.
Somehow the family pot extends to snacks, both sugary and salty, soft drinks and candies of all descriptions.
My name is Dr. Stephen Carroll, the CEO at Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist, and we are committed to making good private health care affordable.
For all your medical needs, including dental, radiology, laparoscopy, behavioral and mental health, along with many other services, contact us for more information at 235-5479.
Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
WESN.
Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
I am Jada McLeod.
Naomi McNish.
And this is AM Prime, back with you for another morning. We hope that you are doing well. We hope that you are having a blessed week, as it is the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So, today, as per usual, we'll be having a very riveting show. We have some interesting discussions to be had. But let's take a little bit of a trek back in time. A couple hours ago, Miss Naomi McNish was in
Mexico. I just came in a couple hours ago at 2 o'clock this morning, and I came straight to the studio. So because I couldn't miss it. I mean, I love being here, and I couldn't be more grateful to start my morning with all of you that are watching. And I know we had a very, very exciting show planned as per usual. But the trip was nice. I had a lot of fun. It was a very nice, getaway. Yeah. Been a while. So back to work, and we're back to give you the best conversations possible.
All right, so before we jump into our first interview of the day, remember that you can always engage with us. Just head to our YouTube or our Facebook at WESNCC. You can leave your comments and your suggestions to engage with us there, and you can be featured possibly on AM Prime. So, jumping into our first interview. In a constituency that is still mourning the loss of a beloved leader, PNM candidate Dominic Romaine is stepping forward with a commitment to honor the legacy of the late Lisa Morris Julian. With less than 20 days or so before the polls open, Romaine comes in to discuss his vision for the future of Malabar Musica, formerly known as W Mera. We will touch on the challenges that he may face ahead, his plans, and the immense responsibility that he may be feeling to fill these big shoes left behind. So good morning and welcome to the program. Dominic, how are you today?
Good morning, good morning. I am good, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Of course, it's still really early though. So how do you usually kickstart your day? Can you walk us through your morning routine?
Well, I'm not really a morning person, admittedly. Well, even except for Tuesdays and Thursdays, because I do have a podcast on YouTube called Facts Are Stubborn Things, which normally starts at about 6:30. So on those days, I would be up early, but I am a financial advisor by profession. So usually I wake up around 6:30, 7. I normally leave home around 9 because the traffic, I go to Port of Spain, and the traffic between O'Mara Road and Port of Spain can be a bit much at times, especially those who live in the east would know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I don't live in the east, but I know what you're talking about.
So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, how would you introduce Dominic Romaine to our audience, to Trinidad and Tobago?
Right, so as I said, I'm a financial advisor by profession. Been involved in the financial services sector for the past 20 years, right out of our school. So I would have been in the banking sector for a little bit, and then I went across to the financial advisory sector. In terms of my political life, I've been a member of the People's National Movement since 2007. I wouldn't say that I chose politics, but more so politics would have chosen me, because somehow I always found myself being aligned with persons who were politically inclined, and then it just progressed from there. So I think this latest chapter in my life perhaps was meant to be. So I'd like to think.
So, I mean, the late Lisa Morris Julian, she was a respected representative for this constituent. Do you plan to, take any lessons from her service, or do you hope to carry on anything that she would have left? Could tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. Well, I think one of the most echoed sentiments that I've heard during the last 8.5 weeks since we've been working the campaign is that I have very big shoes to fill. But as I keep telling people, I don't intend to fill Lisa's shoes. Certainly, I wear size 11.5, and I'm pretty sure Lisa's foot was a little smaller than that. So what my intention is to pick up the mantle from where she left off. And I can tell you, Lisa, I'm learning with each and every passing day that Lisa would have done tremendous work as a representative. Certainly second to none is how some persons would have described, particularly because over the last, this constituency has had 4 members of parliament over the last 20 years. So and each one of them would have been one-term MPs. So Lisa's tenure, unfortunately, ended tragically. But had that not happened, I suppose she would have been the first in the last 3 to serve 2 terms. So a lot of work, because I've met with a number of persons for whom Lisa would have been doing various things, persons who would have met with her who would have had different needs, some personal, some on a community-based basis. And so I intend to follow up on those, because these things, when you speak to these people, it is clear that it meant a lot to them. And when I hear of the type of service that Lisa would have offered, she would have gone above and beyond, sometimes relying on her own personal resources to assist persons where that assistance could not come from the state. So people keep telling me, well, we hope that you're going to maintain the same level of representation that Lisa did. One of the complaints people always make is that they don't see their MP after elections, but I keep hearing Lisa used to walk the constituency a lot. She would just pop in, speak to people to find out if everything is going well. If there was a project ongoing, she would follow up to make sure things are running smoothly. So she would just pass by just to find out if persons had any issues, any needs that she could address. And so she raised the bar for representation extremely high. So from that perspective, I know I have a very big job on my hands, but I think I'm up to the challenge, because fortunately, several persons who would have been working with Lisa, who were part of her team, are now part of my team as well. So I intend to learn from them and get a better idea as to how Lisa did what she did.
All right. So what is that role in your words? What is that job of being an MP? What brought you from where you were in the banking sector, financial sector, into this political career? Why are you doing this?
So I must admit, when Lisa passed away, unfortunately, a number of persons would have reached out to me suggesting that I should consider throwing my hat in the ring because of my political activism. I was previously a radio talk show host on 91.9 for a while before I went into becoming a YouTube podcaster. And so based on the information that I bring, because I focus on debunking some of the myths and some of the misinformation that is in the public domain, and it's something that persons appreciated, and they suggested that perhaps I should consider. And to be honest with you, first off, I thought about it, but when I contemplated the enormity of this task, I had to ask myself, is this something that I really want to do? And of course, I had to pray about it, and eventually I did make the decision to offer myself. There were 7 of us who would have been nominated to be screened, and well, of course, I was the successful one. But with each day that we work the constituency, I have a newfound appreciation for the work that MPs do. Because looking from the outside looking in, you hear people all the time criticizing members of parliament, that they're not doing anything, that you don't see them, and so on. But I've come to realize a lot of the issues in the constituency that would fall sometimes under a councillor, but persons don't know how to differentiate between the duties of the councillor and the member of parliament. So oftentimes the member of parliament gets blamed for things that is really the responsibility of the councillor. Fortunately for me, I have 7 councillors under the constituency of Malabar-Mausika, and for the most part, whenever I'm working, they would assist and they would work with me in their particular districts, and I've only heard good things from most of the councillors that I've worked with so far. But oftentimes what I've come to realize, and based on my discussions with my councillors, is that when there is not delivery as quickly as they would like, as the constituents or the burgesses would like, it is not for a lack of trying, but oftentimes because of a lack of resources. And so when you have so many people wanting things, and as fast as you take something off your list of things to do, you have about 5 more that comes onto the list. So it's a constant thing. So I realized that what is necessary and critical serving as an MP is communication. So persons will tell you, well, they don't know where their issue is at. And so what they're asking for is that communication. Even if you may be able to do whatever it is right away, at least let us know. Find some way to communicate with them, especially if it is issues that are community-centered. So one of the things that I have indicated to them that I plan to do is every quarter to have a session called Conversations with Your Representatives. So I would invite all 7 of my councillors, and we would meet at one of the community centers. We would invite members of the constituency to come out, and we will account for our stewardship for the past 3 months, and give them with an opportunity and a platform to be able to raise questions and just express their views on what's happening.
Yeah. Let's I just want to get a clearer understanding. You said you would have been on the ground talking to members of the constituency and understanding some issues that they're facing, and how you could help. Can we talk a little bit about that and just get into detail? What are some of the issues and how do you intend to address them moving forward, or if elected?
So one of the most pressing issues that I encounter every day has to do with concerns for the youth in Malabar Mousica. Persons have expressed to me that there is a need for us to develop some of the recreational facilities. So we have a number of grounds that require upgrade, that require facilities for the young people to engage in, simple activities. In some cases, you might have a basketball court where the backboard is really, really in a mess, and they just need it to be, they just need a new one. And it ranges to situations where persons are asking for things like homework centers, because we do have a bit of a crime problem in Malabar Mousica. It's not that extreme, but it exists, and it's a concern for many of the constituents, some of whom would have taken matters into their own hands and would have installed things like cameras. Some are making requests, for instance, to have their neighborhood become gated communities. They are willing to spend the money themselves to put up the gate and the fencing facilities. All they are seeking from the MP is assistance with getting permission from the Borough Corporation to be able to facilitate that. Of course, that brings with it certain challenges which they're not aware of, because once you make the community a gated community, it's now considered private. So services that would normally be provided by the borough, such as the collection of garbage and so on, and other facilities like that, would now have to be paid for. So the discussions that I would need to have with the residents, perhaps in a town hall or cottage meeting session. But coming back to the issue of the youth, there are persons in the community, young persons who would have completed their schooling and are looking for employment, looking for training opportunities. And, a lot of them are not aware of some of the facilities that the government has, for instance, through the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service. So one of the things that I plan to do is to work with that ministry to ensure that Malabar Mousica gets its quota. But then, and perhaps it's something that we need to look at across the 41 constituencies. So we would need, of course, to educate not just the young persons, but their parents as well. Because as the saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So we would need to leverage on the parents in some cases to be able to give their children that encouragement for them to be able to step forward and take advantage. One of the main concerns we had with respect to some young people and who I would have met who are currently unemployed and looking for work, and when I ask them, so what type of work are you looking for? The most popular answer I get is, well, if I could get a job in the Borough Corporation or the regional corporation. And I'm surprised at that, because when I ask my councillors, so what is this attraction to the borough or to the regional corporation? And they tell me, well, it's the work hours, so you probably come to work for 2-3 hours and then you go home. So I'm surprised by that. And some of these young persons who have these jobs, when they go home, they're not doing anything else for the rest of the day productive or that could earn them additional income. So even if opportunities presents itself for them to get more stable employment and employment that might be more financially enticing, they're not interested. So that's in for me. How do you change that? How do you change that mindset?
Especially in your capacity as a financial advisor, I'm actually glad you brought up the youth, because do you intend in any way to use your background to sort of maybe create programs or some sort of teaching to give to the youth about why financial education is so important, of literacy is so important?
Yeah. In fact, when I was screened back on the 27th of January, that was one of the issues that I raised with the screening committee. When the question was put to me that if I were not successful as the chosen candidate, would I be willing to work with the person who is chosen? And I did indicate to the screening committee that yes, I would, but there are certain things that I think that person would need to engage in the constituency. And I would have referenced my own background and expressed my willingness to work with some of my colleagues in the financial services sector to come into the communities, use the community centers, and to provide sessions that deal with financial literacy. Because you may recall in 2023, the Minister, during his budget presentation, would have indicated that the government intended to engage in a national financial literacy program that would involve the banks, the credit unions, the unit trust, and so on. And so I would have reminded the minister of that and indicated to him my willingness to participate in that exercise. I'm also the vice president of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. And so we have a team of persons under us who work in insurance and banking and the like, who are all ready, willing to participate in that exercise on a voluntary basis. So we would go to the different community centers and so on and offer those services free of charge.
All right. So it's no secret, and it would be remiss of me not to bring this up, but it's no secret that you would have been a part of the ILP, the Independent Liberal Party, a couple of years back, and you are quoted as saying that you were a card-holding member of the PNM, even though you were the candidate for the ILP for the same constituency, I think, back in 2015. So can I ask, what were the attractive factors about the ILP that sort of, I wouldn't say pulled you away, but go to the ILP instead of the PNM?
Well, I think I would say that it was a desire to serve. And so what would have happened is that in 2013, my mother would have suffered a stroke at the time, but she has always wanted me to get into politics as well. And she was encouraging me. She said, why don't you consider running for the local election for our district? And I would indicate to her, well, I wouldn't be able to do that because at the time I was not a member of a PNM party group, which is a requirement in order for you to be screened. A party group must nominate you. And so she indicated to me, she suggested, why not consider Jack Warner's party? So I said, well, I can't do that because I'm PNM. So she said, well, it's not really about the party. She said, the thing is, there are needs in the community. The representation that we're getting, because at the time, it was the representative was from the UNC, a young lady by the name of Jalen Rupnarine. There was a lot of things that needed to be done in the community. There was some neglect. In fact, simple things like the street on which I live had not been paved in almost 20 years. And so it was on her encouragement. Now, even though there was a little battle between us, she kept insisting, oh, you will get picked. And just to satisfy her because of her health condition at the time. And she was so adamant about it. I said, you know what, I'll just go just for the screening. I'm sure I'm not going to get picked. And then I could tell her I went, I got picked, I didn't get picked, and that's that. Again, there were 7 of us who screened, and I was selected. Yeah, much to my surprise. And so that's how come I ended up running for the seat. I wasn't successful, but there's an old saying, the Lord works in mysterious ways, great wonders to perform. Because as a result of my brief involvement with the ILP, that is how I ended up on radio. And it was out of radio that and the work that I would have done on the radio is what would have advanced my foray into politics. Persons would have gotten to know me and the quality of the work that I do, especially as it pertains to my research, because I operated on the basis that once you sit in front of a microphone that is broadcasting to tens of thousands or maybe even hundreds of thousands of persons, you don't know who's listening to you, and therefore you have an obligation to ensure that whatever information you impart is factually correct. And so persons appreciated that. Even to this date, as I walk the constituency on a daily basis, I meet people who say to me, yeah, I know you, I remember you from when you were on 91.9, and I used to listen to you all the time, and we were so upset when you left. So that is also assisting me at this point in time. So of course in 2016, after the local government election, the ILP just kind of fizzled away, and most of us who would have belonged to different political parties prior to becoming involved with the ILP, we just went back to where we were before.
All right. Well, what you said before kind of leads me to my next question. I wanted to ask, how has the response from the constituency been like? What has it been like since and it was announced that you're running as a candidate?
Right. So there has been some mixed feelings because, of course, there are persons who were very close to Lisa Morris. Right, so I have encountered persons from time to time who have become extremely emotional when they meet me because, it's the reality has hit them that Lisa is no longer here.
Yes.
But by and large, I can see I feel I can confidently say that Malabar Mausika is red and ready. Most of the Lisa would have built a foundation of support and loyalty. So there are a lot of persons who, because of the good work that she would have done and the impact that she would have had on their lives personally, are willing to give me that opportunity to serve, right? On the caveat that I can bring the same level of representation or even better. So I can honestly say that I have not really received any sort of negativity from persons who I would have met. In fact, every day I look forward to going out into the constituency and meeting with persons who express their commitment. That listen, you have some people would say to me, listen, you have X amount of votes in this house. You know, you don't need to come here. You don't need to walk on the street. The street is safe. The street is good. But I'm not taking any for granted in this election, and I feel it is necessary to meet with the persons to give them that opportunity to see the candidate rather than assume that the constituency is PNM and that expect persons to go to the ballot box and just put their X next to a name and they don't know that person. Now, because the constituency is fairly large, and given the period of time that we have left before the election, I don't think I'll be able to walk the entire constituency. Of course, there would have been some neighborhoods that I've walked where persons were not home, and we don't have the time to walk back before the election. So some persons would not have had the opportunity to meet with me. And then after the election, once we are successful, to go back to complete the walk, those areas where persons may not have had the opportunity to meet me before. But I can say by and large, Malabar Mausika can be counted under the red color.
All right, I wanted to kind of broaden the conversation a little bit off of the constituency and go to more global issues. So we know the ongoing tariff trade wars between global powers like the US and China undoubtedly going to affect countries like ours. A couple of days ago, CARICOM Chair Mia Motley emphasized the importance of unity and local entrepreneurship, a sort of each one care for one type of mentality. So if elected, how can you and your team foster that spirit of community building and entrepreneurship within the community?
Right. So actually, that is one of the issues that we have been discussing, because I believe that we should be trying to push entrepreneurship, right? It's something that and I have been advocating again on my podcast for the last 2 years. Those programs being offered by the Ministry of Youth Development and National Service that is geared towards entrepreneurship. So, for instance, the government has a program where they intend to create at least 1,000 entrepreneurs by the end of 2025. So the last budget, some $20 million would have been set aside to provide grants of up to $20,000 to 1,000 persons to be able to start businesses, or those who may already have businesses and want to expand. I was speaking to my campaign manager just a couple of days ago, who happens to be an alderman on the Arima Borough Corporation, and he was indicating to me that one of the projects and initiatives that would have been undertaken under the previous MP was they would have utilized the services of persons within the constituency who have a background in business, and persons such as attorneys and so on, and they would have had sessions where persons could come and they would provide them with the information that they need to register a business and assist them in the process of applying for or bidding for contracts, RFPs and the like. And it is something that I want to continue, because as I say, if it is that we can foster that whole entrepreneurship mindset in the constituency, where persons can write their own paycheck rather than having to depend on someone to dictate how much they should earn on a monthly basis, I think that could serve as an incentive for the young people in the constituency as well. Malabar Mausika is a burgeoning commercial hub. When you go from Mausika Road all the way up to Tumpuna Road, we would see a number of franchises are now setting up in the constituency. So clearly there is some draw. We also have our industrial estate, and then we have a number of factories in the Prince Reville area, where a number of persons from the constituency work. So clearly there is something in Malabar Mausika that is attracting commerce, and I think we should be able to leverage on that for the constituents. So one of the things that I intend to do as well is to lean on my corporate constituents all of these the various businesses that are in the constituency to be able to work with us as it pertains to corporate social responsibility, because you are benefiting from the resources of the constituency. While the ownership of these businesses may not reside necessarily in the constituency, they are still benefiting, their businesses are benefiting, and if we could work with them to see how best we can create that synergy to be able to promote entrepreneurship within the constituency, whether it be if they are willing to offer some sort of apprenticeship program within these companies and so on. But there is going to be definitely a focus on promoting entrepreneurship, and as I said before, I intend to speak with whoever the Minister of Youth Development would be post April 28th to see if it is that we can arrange some sort of quota in terms of these programs to Malabar Mouse. Yeah, because I can tell you, coming out of the tenure of Anil Roberts, Malabar Mousika at that time, W. Mera, it wasn't a very good time, I can honestly tell you. And I meet people every day who tell me of how rough things were in terms of the youth who would have been led astray under, as you know, Malabar Mousika featured prominently in the live sport program in areas such as Karapo and so on, where there was that focus, and there is still some lingering effects of that in these districts, which has unfortunately created some pockets of criminality which we need to deal with. Right? And that's one of the communities that I intend to work with, and I'm hoping that when either the Prime Minister or the Minister of National Security join me on my walkabout, that we could go to those communities and speak with the persons there and see how we could treat with them.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Romain. As we come to a close, though, what message would you like to leave with your constituents, members of the constituents, as they prepare to make their decision?
So I want to tell them that I am here to serve. It may sound cliche, but it's the truth. In fact, although I have not yet been elected, I have been able to leverage on my professional background to assist persons. I've been able to assist a couple of persons in finding lucrative employment. We've been able to assist some persons in getting grants and the like. And again, as I told them, it's not about me. I don't intend to only focus on what the government can do for you, right? So one of I would say that my unique abilities or the benefits that comes from me being their representative is that I, in my professional life, would have built up a significant clientele where I have corporate clients from around Trinidad and Tobago who are willing to work with me. Some of them have expressed interest in assisting me with the campaign, and I tell them, listen, I don't want you to donate to the campaign. If you have to, let it be that I could call on you if somebody needs a job, or if it is that we have some sort of facility in the constituency, such as we want to put up on a few grounds, pavilions and so on, to be able to assist in upgrading recreational facilities. If they could do that, I don't need them to donate to my campaign. I will treat with that matter in terms of managing those expenses. But for them to make that type of intervention into the community. So I am there. As I keep telling them, I don't intend to be an absentee MP because I know what it is to not see your representative and how difficult that could be. So I can't be hearing people telling me every day, I know this is the first and last time that we will see you. I give them the commitment that it will not be, and then I fall back on that. So we intend to use technology to be able to meet with constituents as well. So if we're not meeting with you in person, I intend to utilize technology like this, such as Zoom and Teams and so on. We also intend to make Malabar Mousika a smart constituency in terms of the establishment of an app that would allow persons to interact directly with the MP as well as the councillors as well, and to keep them up to date with what is happening in the constituency. And I invite them to partner with me. Continue to share your ideas and your recommendations on how we could improve Malabar Mousika to make it that model constituency. I am all ears, my councillors are all ears, and hopefully after April 28th, the government will also be all ears, because I intend to represent them well in the constituency and in the parliament as well.
Sounds interesting. We love that you have all of these plans and vision, proper vision for the constituency.
And we wish you all the best, not just at the elections, but beyond that. And being an MP, apart from having big shoes to fill, or smaller shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. It is a tough job.
It is a tough, and a lot of people are depending on you, and so we do wish you all the best moving forward.
Thank you so much. And also, I mean, after April 28th, I'll be more than happy to make myself available to the media, just to give you all an update as to how things are going.
Yes.
So, yes.
I'm going to hold you to that.
We will.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Romain.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
All right, folks, that was Dominic Romain, PNM candidate for Malabamasika, formerly known as Dabidi Omera. April 28th, it will be a day like no other. Prepare yourself to make an informed decision and, most importantly, go register to vote. And if you're not, and if you are already registered to vote, head to the polls on April 28th and vote, not just for your future, but for your children's as well.
It's very, very important. So let's do what we have to do.
Yeah. So we're going to take a short break. This is AM Prime. Stay with us.
I am Dr. Delphina Ovid, your friendly neighborhood dentist. At Community Hospital Dental Clinic, we offer examinations which include x-rays, basic oral cancer screening, and the treatment plan. We also offer cleanings, fillings, extractions, root canal treatment, and complete and partial dentures. Remember, you don't have to brush and floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Welcome back to the program this morning. As the world continues to embrace digital transformation, e-commerce is becoming a vital part of economic growth. And in the Caribbean, it's no different. But from limited payment gateways to cross-border trade challenges, there are still key hurdles to overcome. Today, we're joined by Gregory Fernandez, a digital entrepreneur and innovator, no stranger to the show, who he is leveraging AI to build scalable e-commerce platforms and even exploring crypto possibilities for future-proof Caribbean businesses. We'll also dive into how these advancements could serve as a foundation for stronger CARICOM partnerships and how Gregory is applying some of his own AI models in business, including his plans for growth and regional marketing. So we have a huge discussion this morning. Good morning, Mr. Fernandez, and welcome back to the program.
Good morning. Good morning. So how to unlock the power of AI to propel business? I think that's something that everybody wants to know, because AI is this AI boom now, and you are somebody that is, I would say, a leading voice on this. So can you just, I know Naomi gave you a proper introduction there, but in your own words, what is it that you do and what is your offering to Trinidad and Tobago, to CARICOM, to the world?
All right. So I'm the CEO and the founder of HR Plus Software, right? So we are a software development company who sell our own brand of HRMS, Human Resource Management System, which we built from the ground up in Trinidad here, right? We have customers in over 22 countries. So out of that, we don't have a problem per se with foreign exchange, my company at least, right? Because we are net in our foreign exchange.
Beautiful.
Yeah? And what we're doing now though is we are looking to take it to the next level by incorporating AI into the product in a number of very, very creative ways. So one of them is actually using what we call AI agents, right? So, a lot of people use ChatGPT and others to query and run research and things like that. But we are using the AI in a more creative ways to assist in achieving efficiencies in business operations. So, for example, an AI agent is like a virtual employee, right? You can use an AI agent to automate tasks that your employees do. And that is where one of the big productivity benefits of the AI arises, right? So we are building AI agents into HR Plus new version to take the place of our project managers, our training staff, our implementation staff, and our help desk. So every client that we bring onto the new platform, which we'll be launching in a few months, will be able to have these at their disposal. So what that allows us to do is, currently we have about 75 staff, and yet we can only do about 20 projects because we mainly serve medium and large organizations across these countries. And these are large projects. So what happens is that the staff can only service about 20, 22 projects a year, and this get us close. We have more projects than that, but about that. Now, with the AI agents who are going to assist the staff, we can now take on hundreds of clients a year because each client gets their own staffing in a sense, these virtual agents, at least, and within the platform, you can have each of those agents multiplies themselves. So you can have more than one client staff member interacting with any of the AI agents at any time. So it is scalable. So what that allows us to do now is to go out in the big wider world and take on a lot more projects. And because we have that scalability of onboarding, then there are huge opportunities for us. Further, we are also using the AI to do data analysis, to do policy enforcement, and other things like that within the application. So if, for example, you tell the AI, and you can easily do that in our framework, that you are not allowed to employ staff members below 18 years. You can actually just put that in English within a certain area of the application, and it would enforce it throughout the environment. So that's just a simple case of policy enforcement, but it can do very complicated stuff as well, right? So these are just a few examples of how we're using the AI within the environment to drive productivity, enforcement, other things like that. And therefore, is an example that can be replicated across many businesses. What has to happen is you need to look at the processes of each business and see what are the areas that can be automated, right? The new thing you will hear about is AI agents. And the AI agents give you a much needed boost in terms of productivity compared to just using the AI without these agents.
So it seems like you're putting this in a very positive light, which is fine. But people might take this as Looney Tunes, like this is AI thing. What do you say to people in response? What do you say to people who may think that way, that this is too much, too fast?
Well, to me, like my staff, at first they were scared that it was coming to take their jobs, right? And I have indicated to them that's not what we're doing. What we're using it for is to allow us to scale, right? So their role is a bit changed now, where they supervise the AI agents. So the AI agents come like virtual employees, and they have to interact with the AI and supervise it, because the AI will be updating our project management systems automatically. So a project manager at HR Plus will now be able to manage more projects and to see where they are and how they're positively being.
So in other words, I mean, this AI comes like your own personal assistant.
Correct. So you know, it's how people see it now. The AI agents, because of what they can do, you can build them across practically all industries.
Yeah.
And they will have an impact. Now, there are some very repetitive jobs, which I see, unless they move to a higher level of interaction, that they are going to be impacted probably in a negative way, in the sense of there will be some job replacement.
Yeah, and I could also imagine, you know, with regard to jobs being repetitive. I mean, if you have this AI assistant, one person can probably take on multiple jobs and have this AI assistant that would
That's
help.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct. So like, for example, if I didn't have the AI agents, I would have to hire a huge number of employees to do what I am hoping to do globally.
Yeah.
Right? But because of the AI agent, it allows me to be able to afford to scale globally, because otherwise you basically keep competing with those global firms who have tremendous resources to be able to scale in that manner, right? So I am actually doing that by using the technology to put us on par with a lot of these big organizations. So from a business context for Trinidad, the AI could be applied in many environments, even in government. But it's a case of, you know, for example, we are running an AI agency. We would have to go into these enterprises and look at some of the things they believe that they would want to have automated and so on, and then look at change management and other things that it would impact within the organization to address concerns from employees and other things like that.
I want to talk a little bit about the e-commerce aspect of it now. One of the biggest hurdles that Caribbean e-commerce faces is payment infrastructure, right? And I mean, we all have frustrations with this. Oh my gosh, we could get into this so much, but how can we navigate or solve the issues with payment gateways?
Well, the thing is, a lot of that is also tied to international mechanisms for settlement, right? Because we don't have what we call the central bank digital. We don't have those things in place across the Caribbean that would allow us to have a trading platform where the net differences between the countries can be settled between the banks, and therefore you could immediately get paid, but in TT dollars for trade with other Caribbean territories. Right? Now, I know the central banks are working on it, and they're looking at it, and that can be a positive thing to increase trade between CARICOM countries, as you will not need to trade in US dollars, right? They would use a settlement mechanism between the different central banks and so on. So things like that can significantly improve e-commerce across the region.
Yeah.
Right? I suppose AI could play a role in that, in helping them analyze and do the research necessary.
AI in every aspect.
Are there any specific platform or upcoming platform that we should keep our eye on that would kind of help with the bridge that gap in the payment issues?
Again, to me, you see, we have to look at two things. Part of the problem is access to foreign currency, right?
Yes, exactly.
And, you know, because of what's going on now with the trade wars and all of those things with the US and so on, it may become even more difficult.
Right.
Because most likely the tariffs and stuff are going to cause goods to go up coming out of North America, because they import a lot of stuff out of China, and then we buy it from them on Amazon and all these types of things. So those are e-commerce areas that are going to be affected by the trade war. Now, so the payment platform, you know, that's something that can be impacted as well, because the US, to punish countries, might say, well, okay, we're going to restrict your ability to do transactions in US currency.
Yes.
Right? So it's a different world now. We have to think of all these things.
Right. So with that now, if we explore crypto as a possible payment solution, what role do you think crypto can realistically play in the Caribbean in Caribbean trade?
I don't see it. Crypto is very difficult to work with, and what I see is the central bank digital coins, that being a much more attainable process to address e-commerce across the Caribbean, right? That's how I see it's going to head. Crypto is very, very difficult to work with, and not everybody, you know, agrees on using crypto, right? They had an experiment with it in El Salvador, and I think they're having a lot of problems, right? But they made it an official currency there. They're having a lot of challenges with how that all works out, right? So I don't see crypto as the future. I see the central bank's digital coins. I see those as the future for embracing trade, regional trade.
Yeah.
So let's be honest. Nothing can realistically happen or take place, let's say in Trinidad, without some sort of regulation. If we're talking about marketing any of these apps or any of these AI agents, when it comes to even some kind of mandate across the central bank, payment structures, currency transfers, all of these things, it realistically cannot be done without some sort of regulation. But what do you think should be the government's first step in Parliament? What do you think we should be considering? What is the type of bill or law? Go ahead.
The first thing is we need an AI plan, a master plan, right? Because AI is going to impact every aspect of our lives. It is already doing so, because most persons who have access to the internet are using it through the those chat LLMs that are available right now. But those tend to have a bias, right, based on who has written and then they feed it with the information to operate in the manner it does, right? So if you go into CARICOM-wide, I would say that we need to have a version of these LLMs. There are open source ones now like DeepSeek and so on that we can modify
And the LNMs that you're mentioning, what is LNM?
All right, a large learning model, right? These are the what are behind the AI, right? So ChatGPT is one, DeepSeek is one.
Yes.
Are you familiar with DeepSeek, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, we had a discussions about DeepSeek previously.
Right. So the DeepSeek is open source.
Yes.
Now what it allows is for you can download it and then modify it to reflect your reality. The world is like this. America's versions of some of these LLMs gives you an American bias, American perspective.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need a Caribbean one, right? That gives us, because the historical context of the Caribbean will be distorted in anything that we bring from outside. So therefore we need a Caribbean perspective. Now, what also needs to happen is AI needs to be implemented in things how we do agriculture. All the different things we do in the Caribbean here, and that are key to our economic success. We need to have smaller AI models that can be trained up to help with those things, and then we could get the benefits of that as it reflects our environment and so on. We also will be pulling, of course, the general ones for like medicine and so on, but still adding the Caribbean experience, because there's a lot of research that goes on in the Caribbean that reflects particular scenarios that affect us here and impact us. And those need to also be integrated into those models so that then we have a AI landscape that really addresses Caribbean needs.
Yeah. I really like having conversations like these, because what I'm thinking is this is an AI boom, right? That's what it's like the next big thing. Do you see this as a thing that's going to really propel CARICOM to the next level?
Well, it has to be, because the thing is that what AI does is really boosts productivity, and you can boost it in various ways and so on. And if you don't go with it and join it, then you're going to be left behind in terms of productivity. And one of the things productivity can do is also drive down cost, right? So some are predicting that with breakthroughs in AI and robotics and other things like that, that eventually the cost of production will fall significantly. So if you have to continue to compete in the world out there, you need to embrace the AI so that you too can have a much more productive and efficient business environment, so that you can compete. So we have to embrace AI. It's not a question of if we need to embrace it or not. We have to.
How do you plan to market what it is that you have created? And how long did it take for you to create these AI agents?
Well, I have a set of programmers who work at the office, and they are the ones who are working with the AI and building out the agents, right? Architecture. It's going to take some months because we have a very large application, right? Right? Something like that normally would take, we started a bit early, right? Once I understood where the AI was going and the power of the technology in some areas, I immediately shifted to that. So we have a little advance on that, and we're working hard at bringing it out. Now, we're actually going to be using AI to do a lot of the marketing for us as well, right? Because you can use AI in all different enterprises. Yeah,
that makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We do have to begin to wrap up now, actually. But what I want to ask, gosh, I lost my train of thought.
Well, we could always have more conversations like this, because AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay.
Correct. And it's evolving so fast, right? Right. They have these very powerful agents now that you can have as your own assistants outside of even what we are building. There are platforms now that provide these AI agents, and once you train it, by working with it a couple of times, it starts to learn you, understand you, and can really assist you in your everyday work. So it's evolving at a rapid pace. It's going to, for example, I saw GPT came out with some image models, right? And as a result of that, it would impact the jobs of persons who do digital artwork and so on.
Yes, that is actually, it has been trending. I saw even some of my friends used it. You ask ChatGPT, to describe or show. You give a description and then they show the picture. And you can even do it with yourself. If you upload a picture of yourself to ChatGPT, they can AI transform the picture.
Right.
Like a cartoon or something.
There's enough AI development out there already that you can make feature films and all of that.
Yeah.
So it's going to change everything.
We obviously need to have more of a conversation on the negative sides of this.
Yeah, but I remembered my question from before. What is these AI agents? Apart from, we know it's could help in the job market in certain positions. So, like you said, you're going to use it to help the marketing of the program. So, who else can benefit from these agents? So we can shoppers, small businesses.
Yes, they are doing agents that can help you shop, right, on e-commerce platforms. They have agents that will help you put on clothes virtually and all these things.
Right.
So as I said, it's going to be pervasive across all areas, and then the AI itself is also being used in the robotics to speed up the advent of robotics in our everyday lives. Robots, just like you saw in iRobot suits, more or less.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do like that in 10 years' time. We'll start to see a lot of these robots all around.
Do you have a patent on this thing or a name, or what is the future of this for you?
Well, when I say patent, we have a product and that's part of it, so that's within our intellectual property, or we use it, right? But what I'm seeing is, AI, I've seen China, they have already in the primary schools and so on, teaching the youngsters how to use AI and all of that. So, we just have to get with it, and it's nothing to be afraid of. It's something that we can embrace, but we need to have policies and guardrails. You see how they're using it in the elections right now.
Yes.
Right? It's using in that type of a bad actor kind of situation as well.
If we want to go there right now, we're being told that we need to wrap up, but I wanted to know, who are the key players that we need to look out for next coming couple of years about this whole AI thing?
Well, so many models are coming out now, and so many countries are entering the market. It's difficult to tell, right?
Anybody right here in Trinidad?
Sometimes you have first responders that get knocked off the topper, right? But we have to wait and see. And similarly with the robotics, we have to wait and see.
All right. I think we definitely we want to stay on
up to date
with this program, this AI agent program, and when you do launch and start your marketing, we would love to kind of
definitely
be a part of that.
Keep us up to date.
Yeah, let's do a series. Let's take AI is large.
Yeah, and I could also come on and show you what some of the agents have out there right now can do.
Yeah.
And let the public see how powerful these things are becoming.
Yes, that would be great.
So every month I could probably come on and show you where everything has gone to. Yeah.
The advancements, of course.
Yes, it's always lovely to have you on, Mr. Fernandez Gregory.
Thank you so much for joining us this early morning.
So, all right, thank you very much.
Of course, have a beautiful day.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, so guys, coming up.
Y'all know what's next.
Y'all know what's next. It is Wild Wednesdays. So stay stay with us. We have one more jam-packed program for you. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage. And we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we kind of have to stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim, right, or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm nothing to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of the
not
game.
no.
Let's go to the last part.
Welcome back. Hi. So, I think Jada's face says it all. Y'all are in for a treat this morning. I'm trying to gather myself. I think during the break, we were both trying to gather ourselves.
I'm not gathered.
So, as usual, we're joined by Mr. Ricardo Mead this morning. Good morning, Mr. Mead.
Good morning, ladies. Isn't it a wonderful morning? It's always wonderful on a Wednesday when I get to sit here with these two lovely ladies and share our wildlife with this wonderful audience out there on the WWW. And today is one such day. It's a wonderful Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Wednesday.
It is.
It's going to be wild today.
So, this morning.
Today.
I don't know how we're going to do this, but for the sake of you guys watching and education, the animal that we have with us this morning, tell us more.
This morning we have with us, drum roll please. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea because I forgot vibrations kind of stimulate this animal into activity. So, oh boy, we may have just, but without much further ado, let's present.
No, absolutely
Aviculia, the pink-toed tarantula. Or the
Say that again?
The pink-toed tarantula. Named quite appropriately because his toes or her toes are pink. So it's very easy. So this is your typical, the big black hairy spider that is coming in my house all the time.
No.
We hear that all the time. It have a big black hairy spider that's coming in my house.
I've never seen a big black hairy spider in my house.
Well, if you're living in town, your chances are slim.
No,
But
I
it's
live in countryside.
that has been burnt out.
Ooh.
So the possibility of those animals existing are very limited.
Oh, okay.
Okay, they would have been killed by fire. As many animals are being killed by fire right now. But in places where there is still some trees standing and some actually secondary forests, these guys are quite common. And they would journey into our homes, not looking for crickets and anything like that, but for insects. They're insectivores. They will eat insects, and that's why they're important. So let me see if I can get this guy out for the
No,
camera.
absolutely not. Keep that thing right there. Right there.
Or maybe the camera can come in a bit there so we can get, you know, I mean, our viewers out there would love to see this amazing creature.
Jada.
Mr. Mead, Mr. Mead, I urge
So-
you to keep that thing in the box.
So he's going to just crawl onto my arm here. There we go. And I'm sure we can just pick that up there. That is our pink toe tarantula. So this is an adult. I believe it's a male. There's a slight difference between the male and females that can be detected as they get older. But the funny thing with them is that when they're babies, the coloration is reversed. Their toes are black and their bodies are pink. And they somehow, I'm not sure at what stage, it really just switches around where their toes become pink and their body becomes black. So this is not an insect. Let's start off there, because insects have how many legs?
6.
6, correct. You go to the front of the class. While this is an anacrid, right? Just like a crab. Anacrid, right? So that's where we get anacrophobia from. Like this young lady right next to me is displaying at the current time. But I don't think it's just anacrophobia. She's just wildophobia. Like for everything, right? You should see her when the little owl fluttered his wings. She almost died. Okay, I'm letting out your secrets right here. But yes, so this creepy crawly, we like to call him, it's a bug, a creepy crawly, is closely related to the crabs. Okay, 8 legs. And it grows by literally molting its skin, its shell or exoskeleton. So many times you've been along the beach and you saw this pretty red-looking crab just sitting on the rocks, and you went and you picked it up and it literally crumbles in your hands. That's because it's a molt. They molted the exoskeleton, or it just never runs away. Because I know you wouldn't probably try to pick it up, but for those of us who have picked it up, it literally crumbles in our hand. It's like chalk. Because that's the exoskeleton. So the spider, the crab, would emerge from inside of that shell. The shell would remain there, and they move along. So many people who have kept this, the amazing thing is you wake up in the morning, sometimes you go to sleep, there's 1 tarantula. You wake up in the morning, and there are 2 tarantulas right next to each other, perfectly formed. So you have the real tarantula there, and the other one is actually the exoskeleton or the shell. Remember, they do not have an internal skeletal structure like us, so it's all outside. So now you go and you pick up the tarantula, it just crumbles in your hand. That is because it's the shell. All right, don't worry about the movement. He's not going to jump out or go crazy. You know, I'm just going to make sure I try to get it so that the people out there get a good view of this animal. So while this animal has a mild venom, much akin to a bee sting, so only persons like myself who are possibly allergic to bee stings should worry. Other people, if you're not allergic to bee stings, you have nothing to worry about. Firstly, it's one of the most difficult things in the world to get such a tarantula to bite you. You have to actually try to hold it and grab it like a predator for it to bite. But he will display his other defenses mechanisms first. Firstly, if it sees you coming, it will try to run away. No confrontation. Let's leave it alone. Okay, don't start nothing, there ain't gonna be nothing. But if you're damn fast, like most Trinis, and you still want confrontation, he will escalate to the next level. The next level, it will actually poop on you. It has the ability to eject its poop up to probably about 36 inches away. Some say 48, but I can definitely attest to 36 inches. This animal can shoot its poop.
You've been pooped on?
Huh?
You've been pooped on?
I've been pooped on. You have not been a spider handler unless you've been pooped on. And they do it without warning. They don't know why they can be upset sometimes. Sometimes your breath just like, oh God, yeah. Okay, so from here, if I took him out right here, Jada, and he didn't like your earring, he can hit you right there.
Well, that's rude.
Just a white, well, yeah, it is, but it's his defense. Okay, and people are like, why would it want to do that? So imagine you're a lizard, for example, okay, like a zandali, and he sees him walking along the ground, and the zandali comes up and grabs him like, oh my gosh, a nice juicy spider, and he poops in his zandali mouth. The zandali's gonna go, oh, kitty, that is disgusting. And while he opens his mouth and exclaims how disgusting it is, he said, goodbye, and he's gone. So that's how a defense works.
Yes.
It works with all animals. Almost all animals will poop under fear, including us humans. You know, so I'm sure, you know, possibly, you know, many of our people who have encountered this would have probably done that, and you see them excuse themselves and go to the bathroom once or twice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a natural defense. Then it has these hairs on its body, and the hairs are quite irritating to your skin. Your palms, nothing. Your palms are tough. But in your skin, the back of your hands, even like on your arms and so on, where it's a little more sensitive, it will bother you. So it can release those hairs, and you will be itchy and scratchy.
Yeah.
And while you're itching and scratching, he's gone.
Yes.
And finally, if you just don't want to learn, he decides, I have no choice. You have chosen violence, you are going to get violence. As a final resort, this animal will bite you. And that's it. That's his stage as he escalates. You know, you escalate, he escalates. Biting will never be the first option. So I've been handling these guys for more than 50 years, and I have never been bitten. Let's hope today is not the day.
Yeah,
It's not the day. It will be good.
What are its main like predators? Like what comes after it?
Daddy with his pair of slippers. So he comes in the house and goes around the light. Why do you think they go around lights? Lights attract?
Insects.
Correct. That's what he's after. Okay, but you see it and you scream, Daddy, it's a big hairy spider. And Daddy comes over with his size 11 slippers. Where it is? Look it on the wall there. And then he proceeds to hit him. Blah. Legs, guts, everything everywhere. Spider dead. You feel good? It's gone. Well, what did you do? You just removed something, killed something that was actually helping you by removing insects from your home.
So how do we safely remove them?
Safely remove them. Get a clear bowl or glass. Place it over it. And then slide a piece of paper or cardboard under it. And now you would see you have it trapped. Take it outside and let it go. It's that simple. Okay, I suggest clear because if you use...
unless you go to cover it with a bowl and it jumps. then what?
Very, very unlikely, you know. And if it jumps at that point, you do employ your poop method. You crap yourself and then go about your business. As many people. It's still not as bad as a flying cockroach, which will be our special guest next week.
Nope. Wow.
You don't like cockroaches?
Nope.
You don't like cockroaches? Nope. If you have a choice, spiders or cockroaches, which would you choose?
Neither.
I'll be sick on both.
No, you have to choose one.
Choose one.
Choice must be made.
The spider.
Okay, and you? Which one you choose?
I decline to comment.
Choose one.
I decline to comment.
You have to choose one.
Perhaps the cockroach because it's smaller.
It's smaller?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen the cockroach that we're going to bring.
Yeah. And cockroaches are disgusting. The way they move, they get into crevices that it's a no for me. The spider could stay there, you know, he chill. Once he don't come out.
Just remember the spiders like this eat the cockroaches.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Okay, so I'll take the spider.
Me as well.
Especially over the German cockroaches.
Because that cockroach not helping me in any way.
No, but if we bring the cockroach, it's going to be in something, right?
Huh?
If we bring the cockroach, it's going to be in something.
Yeah, it's going to be in the studio.
We can play let's find the cockroach, let it loose.
Yeah. But even the cockroaches, they're finding out if the nutritional value and the potential for cockroaches for human nutrition. Okay, well, high in protein, processed, it can provide a substitute protein for animals that we in turn eat. I mean, although there's some countries in South America where they're now producing a cockroach bread, which is supposed to be amazing for malnourished people, the potential is great. Insect farming is now a thing of the future today. It's happening now. People are recognizing more and more that people have always eaten insects and always will eat insects. So if you find a way to do it sustainably, which is fairly easy because of what they consume compared to larger creatures like bovine and even goats and chicken, then the potential for sustainability is great. So people are looking at it because with climate change and all the economic factors and pressures coming to bear on especially small developing countries, we need to look at alternatives. You know, and if this whole tariff thing doesn't teach us a lesson, I don't think anything else will. So we need to look, I'm not saying go out there and eat cockroaches, but look at smarter, better ways of doing what we need to do. What do we need to do? We need to eat, we need to drink. Find better ways of doing it. That's all. So you can save money, save time, save energy, save costs, and in long term, save yourself. Okay? So these animals all have some importance. And even their venom's been studied. Studies have been carried out on the venom of all different types of spiders because they do certain things to the bodies of animals. And while you may think venom is bad, venom is good on the other side. For what might be bad one way can be useful another. And all I have to say is the most popular blue pill in the world, Viagra.
Oh.
Its current use was not its intended use. It was a side effect. So they're testing these people, and like everybody had a bit of a problem, which was kind of hard to understand. So they discovered that, that is an attribute which could be much more profitable for what they were seeking.
Yes.
And now that is what is, attributed to it. So it's just amazing, I get excited when I learn different things and different connections and different angles, So the angle I would like to see this morning is one of you lovely ladies holding this lovely spider.
That's not going to happen, but I do want to know.
She couldn't be more calm saying that, eh?
What part, are these spiders indigenous to Trinidad and Tobago, or what part of the world are they found in?
It's considered New World tarantulas, and they're from Trinidad right back down to the South Americas.
Okay.
We do have, so it is native to Trinidad, but we have another tarantula which I hope to bring on. It's called the Trinidad chevron tarantula.
Oh, tell me it's red.
It's
red?
what?
Is it red?
No,
Okay.
it's kind of brownish.
Okay.
But the thing is, the only place in the world that this tarantula is found naturally is here in Trinidad.
Okay.
So if this tarantula dies out in Trinidad, it goes extinct in the world.
Right.
So we need
That's the red one.
the brown,
right.
yeah, Trinidad chevron tarantula.
Okay.
Only found in Trinidad, but it's popular throughout the world. The pink toe is also quite popular throughout the world as a pet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is the Trinidad chevron tarantula.
Is it bigger?
Oh, much bigger.
Ooh.
Bigger.
Okay, that's exciting.
An adult female can literally just kind of like take up your face.
Yeah.
They can get pretty big. But only found here in Trinidad naturally and now being bred around the world.
Right. But you see, I'm excited. Like, I love these things. I love to see these things. I can't wait to meet the,
The big one.
the big one.
I'll make sure we get a big one. Yeah.
But I can't hold it. I'm sorry.
In fact, I always tell people, they always say that, I can't hold a tarantula. And I said, I never tried to hold a tarantula. That's one reason I've never been bitten in 50 years. You hold in the tarantula many times, especially these what are considered smaller ones, because remember, there are bird-eating tarantulas also that are quite big. What you do is you allow yourself to represent a tree and let the spider go on you. Because if you hold it, that's an act of aggression. You're acting like a predator, so now it will react. But if you coax it or stimulate it to think that you're okay just so, and it will walk on you, you're good to go.
That's why you did what you did when you put your hand there and it just kind of crawled up.
Correct. I will never try to hold it. In an emergency situation, I would. So in a situation where, say, unfortunately, it jumps on yourself and you are freaking out, I would remove it from you quickly. Okay, I mean, I would still really try to get it to walk on me, but if I have to, I will remove it quickly. But that is not the proper way, and people make mistakes down here because they see people abroad and on YouTube picking up their tarantulas. Those are big, heavy, chunky tarantulas that are a lot more calm. Ours are much more jumpy and reactive. So it's not the best thing to try and pick it up. Let it walk on you, literally. So let's see if we can get him to do that again. He's going to walk up here. And he can
I would recommend it not be like...
I'll try my hand.
So I also have to be careful in dealing with these spiders, is that I have to be basically scent neutral. Try not to put on creams and perfumes and stuff like that.
I have a lot of perfume on.
Yeah, I know. You have a lot of perfume on. Yeah, we're spelling it all here.
Yeah.
And we'll see if the spider approves of it.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay. So, I wear a lot of creams. I have a lot of cream on my hand.
So some are okay, some are not. They will determine. Because I've tried many times to put it on certain people and the spider literally just turns back from their hand. And that would be the result. So we go with the flow of the animal. If the animal doesn't want to do something, you don't force it.
Okay.
So if I'm putting it by your hand and it's moving away, that tells me that he doesn't like.
Can you describe the feeling? Yeah. Describe what the legs feel like.
Gentle touches.
Okay, like
is it like
touches? Pillowy, soft,
a bit,
fluffy?
Yes, very soft. Just imagine somebody just taking an eraser and a pencil and just touching you in little steps like that. That's what it is. But in the truth and in fact, at the end of the feet are actually hooks.
Oh, okay.
They're actual hooks. And that is how a spider is able to climb up glass. So it's not suction type, they're little hooks. So glass to us is smooth, but to them, they can find its tiniest little notches and crevices and so on, and just literally put those hooks into there and walk along. All right, so I'm hoping people get a chance to see this here. Yeah. This is a really beautiful specimen there, and there's a slightly sort of burnt umber on the tips of the hairs on it, but it's just really one of the most fascinating creatures around and where they move and the feel of it. People freak out, but after you get it to walk on you, it's like, it's not what I expected it to be.
Okay,
it's
Mr.
quite
Mead.
calm.
Oh my God, Naomi.
We're going to do this?
We're going to do this.
We're going to do this. Okay.
We're going to do this.
So this is going to freak Jada out.
Okay.
Because we have to cross Jada. But Jada,
She
you're
may
safe.
not even.
Okay, so I would suggest the back of your hand.
Okay. Okay.
It would be less.
Okay, I'm just going to let it cross over, and then we're going to take it off.
Okay, we can try it like that. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually hold your hand. Give me your hand.
Mr. Mead.
You don't like my scent. You don't like my scent. You don't like my scent.
I don't think we're doing this. I don't think we're doing this.
He's going to poop on me.
Well, actually, the person that should be doing this should be Jada, really, you know, since she's. Where do you go?
Mr. Mead,
Are you seeing him?
Not today.
I think we've lost
I
the
think the
spider.
viewers are seeing him.
Oh yeah, he's on my shoulder.
Yes.
Right there. Okay, yeah. So
What causes the fear? What is it? The arachnophobia.
Arachnophobia.
What causes that? Because honestly,
you should be telling me.
No, it seems like a beautiful creature, and I will be very, very honest about that. But the way it crawls, it just.
It's because you've been programmed.
Yeah.
We've been programmed. Fluffy, cuddly is nice. Anything that doesn't fit that mold is. Where is he now?
Yeah, any insect that is fluffy and black seems like it's just wrong.
Right.
You know that caterpillar that's fluffy and it's nasty.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. Oh, he's on this side. Oh, sorry. Yes. We do not want him to jump, so we're gonna coax him back into his enclosure. Come on, Pinky. Come on up front. And for folks, those of you who don't know, that is a laptop that Jada is holding like a little piece of
She's ready
paper.
to just hit the spider.
Right? That's a laptop she's holding. It's not a piece of paper. Okay, I'm trying to get him. Let's see if we can get him to come in front.
Oh, God.
There you go. Lovely. Okay. If he stays there, we're good,
You know,
right? So we're seeing him out there.
For the sake of the viewers, I mean, y'all sitting at home, wherever y'all watching, I would love to hold this thing just to, you know, I can also give my view of it. But y'all, I can't do it, you know.
And you know what? You guys sitting at home wouldn't do it either. You wouldn't do it either. Yeah?
I don't think so. I think we got some adventurous people out there.
There are some adventurous people.
Not just that, they're trusting
I'm this
enough.
close to doing it, but
Where is he now?
he's still on your shoulder.
Okay, right there. See? How chill.
Yeah.
You know, some people put a parrot on their shoulder. I put a tarantula. And he's quite chill, right, Pinky?
Okay. Yeah. Before we close the show, because we do have to close, let's let him crawl over my hand,
All right.
and then we'll close.
All right, let me see if I can
Real
get him.
quick.
Okay, Jada, I need you to put your hand and just,
Absolutely not.
I need to get the spider off my back.
Well, then you nail me.
Come on, Jada.
Absolutely not.
My arms are just not long enough
Can't you
to
put the
reach
next arm up?
back there.
And you know,
This
if
one?
he
No.
grabs it wrong, she's gonna jump.
On Jada.
Yeah.
Where did he go now?
Get that thing.
Get that thing. All right. So the spider, leave him alone. He's safely on the floor. All right. I should not be laughing at this, folks. Poor Jada's heart is about to give up.
So he's crawling all over the studio. We are going to wrap up this morning. Thank you so much for joining. As usual, we will leave you with this quote. Leadership is not about being in charge. It is about taking care of those in your charge. This is a quote by Simon Sinek. For those of you that don't know Simon Sinek, he's a really very educated guy. He hosts a podcast that I constantly watch his podcast videos. So that's where we leave it for today. Thank you for staying with us. The conversations don't end here. They continue in our communities, in our choices, and in our actions. So until next time, Jada.
See you guys. Engage with us on WSNCC, on our YouTube, on our Facebook. And yeah, maybe your comments can be featured on
Leave your comments
Prime.
so we can see it and interact with you guys and talk, have discussions, etc. So yeah, stay safe. And we
Stay
will see
inspired.
you. Stay inspired.
Stay wild.
Stay wild.
Yep.
And we will see you back again here tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.
WESN.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist.
When good private health care is affordable.
Fan Zone.